Hey, this is Ahmed from DifferenceInSkill, and today I'll be bringing you an announcement video. But before I start, so this is the first video I've made since the last few weeks. So basically, I went on holiday, and then I guess some people were asking around. So I went to the qualifiers in Toronto, and yeah, got a free deck box, world champion box, and then. Well, let's just say that day was, it was a bad day. I went in with a Spike Brother deck, and basically I got eliminated in the first 2 rounds, and well, this was really, so I lost in the worst way possible, really. So I got grade stuck in both rounds, and since it was single elimination, I got destroyed really early in the matches. So I got pretty salty that day, and it wasn't really because I lost per se, but well, it is, but it's because I lost in a manner where I didn't really get to play the game at all. So salty day is salty. Alright, moving on to announcement. So in 2 weeks at K-os Collectibles, which is in Toronto, they are gonna host a team tournament. So I'm just going to go over the rules for them today. So first of all, it's an $8 entry fee, and you will receive a promo pack along with your entry, which will, well, at the moment, you basically get this guy, this, and Holy Disaster Dragon. Yeah, I've been joining a lot of tournaments. Okay, the next rule is that for the prize, as of right now, we're gonna say, right now I talked with the store manager, and they're gonna go with 3.5 boxes. And this actually might change because it actually depends on how many players will join the tournament, and then we're gonna adjust the prize accordingly to it. But last month we had our first team tournament, and we had 8 teams. And then actually the prize last month wasn't actually any boxes. We actually just gave out store credit. But so we're just gonna go with assuming that 8 teams will join again with $8 entry fee. We're gonna have 3.5 boxes to give out. So first prize will receive 1.5 box. Second place, you'll get 1 box, and then the team coming in 3rd place will get half box. So, alright, so going over back to 2 weeks again, basically this is so the tournament will be held on September 23rd, 2012 at 2, and the tournament will start at 2:30. But I recommend coming a bit earlier for registration, because there's actually some things we need to go through with. So first of all, team tournament, it's gonna be 3 players, so a team will consist of 3 people. And basically, the other rule is, okay, so that's the first rule, you get 3 people on a team. And the second rule is each team member has to play a different clan. So you can't go like, go Paladin, I'll play Galmor. So that's the first member. And then the second person will have to play a different clan. And basically, this does not count as different, like, oh, I'm playing Galmor on one side as one of my build, and I'm also playing the Spectral Dunk build. Yeah. Not happening. So you guys will have to actually use a different clan, like not prepared at all, like that. I don't know. Yeah, Pendragon. So you guys can have a team of Gold Paladins, Royal Paladins, and something else that's not one of these 2. So as long as your team is running 3 different clans, that's the limitation right now. For people who are playing mixed decks, so well, actually, I'm not sure if anyone's gonna really play mixed clans, but we're gonna go with whatever the deck's majority clan is. So basically, if you're playing something like, let's say, Spike Brother and Gold Pallies mixed together, right? So we're gonna say that, let's assume that if you have more Gold Paladins in the deck, that will be the major clan in your deck. So we're gonna count your deck as Gold Paladin deck in that case. So then, in that case, then your other team member can run Spike Brother, even though you have a mixed clan of Spike and Paladins in the other member. So that's just an example. The other thing that I need to go through, so this is really similar to Vancouver, like one of Chan's team tourney. So when you join and register, what I'm gonna get you to do is, so you write down, so you're gonna give me your team name. Team name, oh god, the sun. I hope it's not reflecting. But good. So I'm gonna give you a team name, which will be something. And then I'm gonna have you give me the order of your players going. So let's say if you had a team of so GP, so Gopali, Spike Brother, and Narukami or whatever, right? So you're gonna have to tell me. So this is your team. So 3 people, and I'm gonna have to, when you register, you're gonna have to give me the order your players are playing in. So let's say if GP is going, so Gopalis are going first, you're gonna tell me that so and so's name. So maybe like person A is going first. So then afterwards, like you can give me like C can be playing second, and then B can play third. And then basically we'll keep track of this, and then for the entire tournament your team will be playing in that order. So you can't switch around to go counter meta, like, oh no, he's going top tier, I'm gonna have to counter him with top tier or something like that. So you have to give me your team order right off the beginning, and then you guys will be playing in that specific order for the rest of the tournament. Okay, what else do I need to go through? Let me just take a look. Okay, so for some of you people who wants to participate, but you guys might not necessarily be having 3 members in your team. Actually, in the last tournament, there was like 1 or 2 teams that didn't have a full, they didn't have a full member. So, and there's also people who wanted to play, and they couldn't find teams. So actually, just you guys can come along, and then you guys can make teams on the spot. And then the rules will just be the same. You guys will have to play a different clan for each member. And then, yes, how do you play? Okay, so this tournament is a Swiss style. So you guys will be, every team will pretty much be playing each other at least once, and then at the end it will be a top 8 or top 4 elimination. And then how you get to this top 4 or top 8 is just by score. And I'm not really familiar with the system actually, but the store manager knows how to do it, so he'll figure it out. And yep. Okay, so another thing for Japanese community players. So actually, we are going to allow Japanese players, people who are holding Japanese cards, to play in the tournament. And the restriction for this is that you only have to play in the TCG format. So you can't play anything that's out of the TCG format. So good example is, so we have Gold Paladin here. So you won't be able to play, where's my deck? Not prepared at all. So like, this will not be allowed, like obviously, because this is not out in the English format yet. So you can't play that. However, you can play, like, let's say this was in Japanese, then yes, we're gonna allow you to play this as long as you stick to the format. And similarly, because September 23rd, by that time actually set 7 in Singapore will be released, we're gonna actually say yes to allowing stuff like this. And okay, so yeah, set 7 cards are gonna be allowed, so you can play Pelennor if you want, or you can play Pale Moon, or some of the new Dark Irregular cards. But like, yes, this will be allowed. So is this. So yeah, so if you guys have the set 7 in Japanese, we're gonna say yes to it because by that time it's gonna be out in English format. Not necessarily worldwide release, but because it's gonna be out in the TCG format, we're gonna say that you can use it. And then this is kind of where it gets complicated. So because the texture for these cards are different, like for triggers wise, it's actually very easy for you to, like, especially if you're playing a deck where like you're playing both English and Japanese cards in it, it's really easy for you when you draw a check to be like, oh, this is a Japanese card right away. But so actually, what I'm gonna say is that for your triggers, you're gonna have, if you're playing a deck where especially there's both English and Japanese at the same time, like I'm gonna have to, well, I'm gonna do deck check on everyone for sure. Like I need to check, just checking if anyone's running more than 16 triggers or illegal stuff, anything. So yeah, come a bit earlier because I'll be doing deck check with some of my associates. So okay, back to playing both Japanese and English. If you're running a deck with all your other cards, all your triggers are Japanese or English, either way, and then all your other cards are the other language, I'm gonna have to say no to that because it's very easy to cheat that way. Because if you run like let's say a deck with all Japanese triggers, and then the rest of your cards are English, it's really easy for you to just hold the card feel and go like, oh, that's the Japanese card. And if they're all your triggers are Japanese, you'll be like, oh, I got a trigger. I already know by just touching the top card. So I'm gonna have to say no to that. But it's fine if you do like here's my Go Pally deck. Like I have some Japanese, like not very many, but the majority of the deck is the other language. And you can actually just do this in reverse. Like if you have mostly an English deck and you run like maybe just a few Japanese cards, that's fine. And if you run a full Japanese deck with maybe like just a few English cards, that's gonna be okay. But I'm gonna be really strict about the triggering part, especially if you have like a full Japanese deck and then just suddenly a random few cards are triggers. That being said, it's actually kind of complicated to deal with this, but at the same time we really want to involve the Japanese community as well. Like it's a really small community to be really honest, and like only right now at our locals, like barely anyone actually played with Japanese decks. So just saying, if any other Japanese players from other areas show up trying wanting to use their decks, we're gonna say yes, but there will be some restrictions. So like for Pale Moon, I know it's gonna be tough because you guys are getting a bunch of new triggers in set 7. So really, but at the same time, really just hoping in that case you guys run a full Japanese deck and not really half English. But like if you only have a few cards in English or reverse, vice versa, we're fine with it. But just remember to keep in the format. So like right now this Pale Moon deck is actually not even with set 7 out, it's not going to be in format because this card is out in extra booster. So the TCG players won't actually get this for quite a long time. But you can build around that, and we're going to say yes to that. Okay, so what else do I have to mention? I think that's about it, actually. So, yep, set 7 will be allowed. And I already mentioned about the formats, cards. Oh yeah, okay. So going back to these are adequates for team tournaments. Like last tournament I was playing around, and then so you're allowed to spectate. Like we're not gonna say, like of course you can watch your team play and everything, and if your team is done early you can watch other teams playing. But like last tournament, like maybe, like I know you didn't do it on purpose, but like I did have some people getting like looking at other people's hand, and then they just mutter some stuff out, and then that kind of gives away your position to the other opponent. Maybe like this could or could not give them an advantage, but just to say that nobody will have the advantage point, like just be quiet when you spectate, or try not to say anything that would give away related to the match, basically, like especially on the opponent's hand and so on, because if it's a bit like, if you did leak out the information, then I have to say that the player does have a right to restart the match because there's disruptants. So that's about spectate. And then, yeah, okay, I forgot something to mention to the Japanese players. Okay, for the Japanese players, I'm gonna have to say, know your effects, because it's gonna be very troublesome if you don't know your effects, and then you need to get us running around. But like if your opponent asks you about the effect, you're gonna have to tell them. Like this is really obvious, same with English really. If they don't understand, you're gonna have to explain it to them. And okay, just in case if the other guy isn't convinced about the effect, then you could ask me. I'll be around. I'll make my team really obvious name, like Team DifferenceInSkill, or I'll go back with my other last tournament. We went with Team Frauds, and then we'll check. Basically, some of us know how to read Japanese, and then we can actually just confirm the effect for you. And so if for some reason you guys don't know it, I will bring computers and whatnot, and then there's always Wikipedia to check your stuff. So easy. Okay, with that all said, I hope to see you guys in 2 weeks, because I'm really hoping to aim at seeing 10 teams this month. And then if you guys don't want to play, you guys can also come and watch. So yeah, please do come. And that's all.